Conformity, a psychological experiment. Some define it as matching attitudes or beliefs to the group's norms, or simply yielding to the group's pressures. Salomon Ache did an experiment in 1951 when he provided an obvious answer to a task that was contrary to the group's or the majority's answer. He gathered a group of individuals and asked them which line had the same length as the one on the left. The obvious answer was C. The group was made up by 5 Confederates and 1 real participant. When all the Confederates said A, contrarily to the logic, the real participants said A too. For our experiment, we asked the question, can this theory be applied with our classmates and virtually? For this we had to ask, is it that what the individual perceives as correct and true correspond to what is most accepted by the majority? We developed the hypothesis, if a group of people is considered trustworthy and uses an invented word, the individuals surrounding such person are less inclined to question or disagree with the fact. First, we invented a word that had new meaning, apepsia, related with stressful situations. We used 4 Confederates that would use the word too. Then we started a virtual conversation using the word, until someone asked what it meant, and then we just asked them to fill out a questionnaire. As you see, the first 3 times the word was used, no one paid much attention, until the 4th time when someone Googled it and sent a screenshot of the result. When filling out the questionnaire, 80% thought the word actually existed. The majority then decided to Google it or to try to decipher the meaning through the context. Still, they thought that the person saying it had so much influence on whether the word was true or invented. Since the first time mentioned, they questioned what the word meant, but they thought that only a mixture of many sources, including Google, one of the most reliable, is what would give it the best meaning. But why didn't they ask the meaning on the group? Well, first because they thought that they could find the meaning for themselves, or because they were simply not interested. Did the person saying it matter? Yes. According to them, the context and what they knew about the person made them trust more that the word was true. When asked if they believed that the majority's truth always tended to be the truth, they answered no. It depended on contexts. This proves what Heflik, social psychologist, said in 2011, that people tend to believe they're less conformist than what they actually are. Also, because the experiment was made through technology, people were able to fact-check data through other resources. From these results, we interpret the same as ACT. If the majority number rises, pressure put in the minority rises. This means the more people didn't ask what the word meant, the less the others had an incentive to ask. But through this experiment, we acknowledge that the context of the person claiming something makes it more or less likely for it to be believable. In general terms, truth is established by human beings with limited knowledge and information. Probably what we think the majority says is what we think it's right. But these results have several limitations. First, they're virtual. Secondly, there's no way to ensure everybody participated. Third, we had previous knowledge about each student. And fourth, this is only a sample group. Even if this is only a sample group, we can still end with the general quote that Avro once said, "Knowledge is a conformity of the object and the intellect." Even if the majority's influence is unavoidable, we still have a chance to be critical and discover our own truths by proving them ourselves. So, what are you waiting for?
Created using Powtoon.